Right, percentages. So let's have a look at this question here. We've got here, it says, right, 13 over 25 is a percentage. Now, with a percentage, of course, percentage means out of 100. So this fraction's out of 25. But often with these fractions, you can scale them. Okay, so you can scale this so it becomes out of 100. And you just got to ask yourself, what do we do into 25 to get to 100? You multiply by 4. Do the same to the top, multiply by 4. So you double it, you get 26, double it, 52. That's a good way of multiplying by 4. So now the fraction is out of 100, so that of course means we've got 52%. Okay, so percent just means out of 100, and we've got 52 there. Next one, write that as a percentage. Well, I hope you can see that's 51%. Okay, you know, whenever you want to change a decimal or a fraction, you can just times by 100 and it'll get you there. So putting them then these in order, 55%, and then these two. Now clearly the 51% is the lowest, so that's 0.51. Then the 52%, so that's this fraction here, and then 55%. Okay, so I put them in ascending order now, from smallest to highest. Number 2, right, 9% is a decimal, so don't forget now that's 9 divided by 100, so that's 0.09. Of course, that's what 900 is as a decimal. Number 3, it says express 5/8 as a percentage. Now, obviously this is a fraction, but think of it as dividing as well. That's ultimately what a fraction is. And what I would do is I would divide this first, change it to a decimal. So if we divide 5 by 8, now obviously 8 is the bigger number, so it won't go into 5. So we'll have to put a 0 here, and then we're going to have to carry that 5. There's nowhere for it to go, so you know we need to put the decimal point there above here as well, and put some zeros here. Okay, so that 5 will carry. Now we've got, after the decimal point, we've got this 50, so to speak. So 8 into 50 then, we know 8 times tables, 8 goes into 50 6 times, and that gives you 48, so there's 2 remainder. 8 into 20 goes 2 times with 4 remainder, and then 8 into 40 goes 5 times. Okay, so 0.625 is a decimal. Again, don't forget to change it to a percentage, then times by 100. So this will move up 2 places. Okay, and the 2 will end up going here. So you get 62.5%. Okay, question 4. You've got here, Tom scored 160 out of 400 in the test. Write this as a percentage. Now, first of all, you'd write your mark like that, wouldn't you, in the test as a fraction. We can change this as a percentage quite easily. This would probably be in a non-calculator paper. So remember now, your fraction needs to be out of 100. So we can scale it, can't we? We can scale it, in this case scaling it down, so we're making it smaller. Of course, to get to 100 from there, you've got to share it by 4. Okay, share the top by 4 as well, so halve it, you get 80, halve it again, you get 40. That's 40%. Okay, question 5. Again, in a non-calculator paper, 17 out of 20. Again, you can scale this. Just think about what you do to 20 to get to 100, timesing it by 5, of course. Okay, times the top by 5. Well, 10 times 5 is 50, 7 times 5 is 35, that adds up to 85. That's 85%. Okay, question 6. This would also be in a non-calculator, okay, but it's much more difficult, isn't it? 42 out of 60. Now, it's not so easy, isn't it? You know, there's nothing really we could multiply by to get that to be 100, okay? It's going to cause problems for us, okay? And what do we do? So, what we can do instead is scale it to a different value. Sometimes it's better to scale it so it's lower. For instance, 10. To get that to 10, you've got to divide by 6, haven't you? And you do the same to the top. 42 divided by 6, 7. And you might know what that is as a percentage straight away then. Or you could also scale it up, couldn't you? You could now change that so it's out of 100 times by 10, so you get 70 here. So 70% is my answer. Question 7, now this would be in a calculator paper, okay? So we have 57, okay, out of 89, alright? And to change that, we need to write it as a fraction first, okay? And then we times, of course, by 100. That's how we change into a percentage. So I must leave my calculator here, but maybe I'll get back to that later. Okay. Now number 8. Let's go to this. 20% of 30. All right. 20% of 30. Now with this one, non-calculator. But when they're asking for 20% or 35% in the next one and so on, the key to it is this percentage value here, 10%. Okay, so we've learned before from 10%, of course, is 10 out of 100. But when you simplify that, you could divide top and bottom by 10, couldn't you? 10 goes into 10 once, 10 goes into 100 10 times. In fact, the zeros are cancelled, aren't they? 10% is 1/10. In other words, just divide by 10. That's what 10% is. So if you work out 10% here first, just divide 30 by 10. You get 3. And once you got your 10%, you can easily work out your 20%, which is 6. Okay? Right, number 9. Again, just work out 10%. Divide 400 by 10. You get 40. You can get 30% from this easily, can't you? If you think about it. You just got to triple it, haven't you? Times it by 3, scale it up. Times that by 3, you get 120. No, I'm not far off 35%. I just need an extra 5%. But again, I can use this here. If I know 10% is 40, 5%, just half of it, isn't it? 5% is half, so you get 20. So you just got to add these two together and you get your answer. Okay. Likewise then with number 10, 10% is 16. You could work straight to 50%. You just got to times that by 5 and a bit of work working that out, you get to 80. And then you want your 5%. It's half of that, and 8. Okay, so add them together and you get 88. Now there is another way of doing this. You could work out, if you know your percentages well, you could just work out 50%, couldn't you, first? 50% is half, isn't it? So half of 160 is 80, and then you could work out your 5%. You could even work from here, couldn't you, to get 5%, because 5 goes into 50 10 times, so you could just divide that by 10. Divide that by 10, you get 8. So add them then, you get the same answer. Number 11, 25%. Well, again, 10% is 14. 20% then is double it, 28. 5% is, what's that, half of 10%, so 7. So 25% then will equal to 35. Okay, just add those two together. There is another way of doing this as well, because if you know your percentages, like 25%, 25% is just a quarter, isn't it? So you could just divide 140 by 4. Okay, and remember, when you divide by 4, halve it, 70, halve it again, 35, so you get the answer straight away. With the last one then, 6%. Well, 10% is 400, or 400 is 40. We want 6, so maybe you could work out 5% next. So of course it's half of it, so that's 20. And then we need 1%, don't we, to give us 6%. Now, lots of ways of getting 1% from either of these, but I suppose from 5, you could just divide it by 5, couldn't you? That will give you 1%. So divide that by 5. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So you've got your 6% is those two added together, 24.